The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. My name is Brian. This is the Daily Dose, and that's what we're going to talk about. We're talking about being scared, how to overcome fear, how to get past that mental barrier that makes you terrified to do something, whether it's speaking in public or whether it's making that sales call or asking the guy or the gal out for dinner or approaching your boss or confronting your spouse, for conversation or whatever it is that scares you. Here's the thing. What's interesting about fear is it's usually not the thing that makes us afraid. It's the fear of the thing. Let me explain what I mean. I flew F-18 Hornets for the United States Navy for a long time. And one of the scariest things you'll ever do, I don't care what line of work you're in. I don't care what you do, right? One of the scariest things you'll ever have to do is to get shot off the end of an aircraft carrier at night. It's scary. I mean, you go from 0 to 160 miles an hour that quick. You go off the end. You can't tell up from down. You can't tell the water from the sky. It's pitch black, and you just have to set your attitude on the jet, hope your instruments are right, keep the power on, and pray that everything just holds together and keeps working until you get away from the water, right? It's terrifying. And it's the most terrifying thing in the world, second only to trying to bring that jet back aboard that aircraft carrier at night. That is truly a near-death experience every single time. And it's terrifying. But here's what's really interesting. When you're getting ready to go flying at night, man, you got the butterflies, you got the nervousness, you got the anxiety, and you're manning up the jet, your stomach's turning, you're looking like, man, it's dark out here, and this kind of thing, and you get in the jet, and you start it up, and you're double-checking all the instruments, you're double-checking all your gauges, you're double-checking everything, because nothing can go wrong, because it's nighttime, and you can't tell up from down, and things get nasty really quickly when you can't tell where you are spatially in the world when you're flying an airplane, right? So you're anxious, you're nervous, you got trepidation, you're looking at all the gauges, but something amazing happens when you taxi to the catapult and you take your flashlight and you give the guys on the deck the signal that says, I'm ready to go flying. All that fear, all that trepidation, everything just leaves you. And this weird sense of calm just kind of comes over you. And the reason is because the decision is made. Because it wasn't necessarily the flying that scared you. It was the fear of having to make that decision. It was the fear of all the uncertainty leading up to it. But once you make the decision, it's not to be afraid of anymore. You just got to go do it. And so the lesson that I have for you tonight, when overcoming fear, again, whether it's in business, health and wellness, relationships, spirituality, whatever it is that's scaring you, whatever it is that's holding you back, whatever it is you should be doing, but you don't do because you're either afraid and you're afraid, or you're procrastinating because you're not admitting to yourself yet that you're afraid. But the reality is that there's fear there, and that's okay. But here's what I want you to know. When the decision is made, the fear and the trepidation will go away. So here's what you got to do. Feel the fear and do it anyway. And when you do it, you'll find that after the decision is made to pick up the phone and call the number, after the decision is made to ask the girl out, after the decision, the fear kind of leaves you. It's pretty interesting that way. Here's another interesting thing. The more you do it, the less you'll fear it. It's still scary to take a cat shot at night, and it's still scary to land on the boat at night, but it's not nearly as scary now after doing it for a couple of hundred times as it was that very first night 10 years ago when I'd never done it before. I was petrified, literally frozen. It took me 10 minutes to get out of the airplane. Now, it's more of just a guy got the butterflies going, whoo, this is exciting. You get aboard and you're like, whoo, got another one, thank you. Right? So the more you do it, the less you'll fear it, and the easier it will be to make the decision. But here's the advice I've got. Feel the fear, do it anyway. And that's the dose, guys. Go make it a great week.